Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 9, text number 3. Ashraddadanaha purusha dharmasyasya parantapa अप्राप्य माम निवर्तन्ते मृत्यु samsara vartamani. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna to all of you. Welcome and thank you so much for joining. So today we are going to cover verses 3 to 9. And in these few verses in this chapter, which is called the most confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is going to explain to us solutions that can help us to become free of miseries of this material world. You know, there are 7 kinds of miseries: birth, disease, old age, death, miseries caused by material body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by material nature. So these are the 7 miseries of the material world. Now, last week we learned an important lesson, which is Rajavidya Rajaguhyam, that this Bhagavad Gita is king of education. And of course, it's also Guhyam, it's a secret. One cannot understand unless one hears it from bona fide authority. And hearing is the first step on the path of Bhakti Yoga. We become advanced spiritually when we hear about Krishna. And Krishna told Arjuna, I'm giving you this most confidential knowledge because you are not envious. You see? So, how do we remove envy from our hearts? By hearing properly, hearing attentively. Then Krishna says we become free from material miseries. Now, this verse that I read just now, number 3, Krishna is saying that those who are not faithful in this devotional service, he doesn't say any devotional service, he doesn't say any spiritual activity, and he makes it very clear that one has to be faithful. If we are not faithful, in fact, if we see any material relationship also, it doesn't work if there's no faith. If the two parties which are there in relationship, if they are not faithful to each other, it's not going to work, right? That relationship will break. So also in spirituality, when we are performing bhakti yoga, when we are following the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says if we are not faithful to that, to this devotional service, which means that has been given by Krishna from chapter 2 onwards, how we should perform bhakti, how we should perform devotional service to Krishna. So what is the result if we are not faithful? Then we cannot attain Krishna. So now we need to make a choice. Do we want to attain Krishna and go to the spiritual world, or do we want to return back to this material world, which is birth, death, old age, and disease? So that choice we need to make. So if we want to go back to the spiritual world and not return to this place of misery, then we need to be faithful in this devotional service. This means recommended by Krishna. And what is the first recommendation? Satatam kirtayanto mam, always chanting. So we need to be chanting his holy names every day. not on just Sunday from 8 to 8:30 or once in a while or whenever we feel like. No, we need to chant every day. What do we need to chant? The Maha Mantra that is given to us by Krishna himself, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So if we are not faithful on this path recommended in Bhagavad Gita, then we return back to this material world, which is a place of misery. So the cycle will continue. Every action has a reaction. So if we are only performing material activities, then there are going to be material reactions, which means we come back into this material world. We learned in chapter 3 and 5 of Bhagavad Gita about karma yoga. Now there are, what is karma? Action, reaction. As we sow, so we reap. If I'm going to sow lemon seeds, I'm not going to get mangoes, I'm going to get lemons. So it's up to us what kind of activities we perform. So there are different stages of reactions. One is called prarabdha karma, which means what we are facing now, whatever miseries we are facing now. Then there is phalanmukha karma, which is waiting, which means we have performed some activities and we have not yet got the reactions. It's waiting to fructify. Then there is kuta karma, which means it's dormant. It's in the dormant state. Then there's bija. Bija means it's in the seed form. Now, what is the cause of all these different stages of reactions? It is ignorance. When we don't have the right knowledge from the right source, then we engage in all kinds of activities and then we face reactions. So, the $1,000,000 question is how to become faithful to the instructions of Krishna. How to become faithful in this devotional service recommended by Krishna. Very simple. When we associate with like-minded people, like when we associate with advanced devotees, then we start getting motivated to perform bhakti, and then their pure bhakti rubs off on us, you see, and then gradually we become faithful in this devotional service. And faith actually is complete conviction. Complete, not partial. Faith is complete conviction that simply by serving Krishna through this process of bhakti yoga, we will achieve perfection. That is firm faith. If there is no faith, then there will be no bhakti yoga, there will be no performance of devotional service, and then there will be no perfection at all, you see. And one of the causes is when we don't have adequate knowledge, when we don't have enough knowledge, you see. Faith is there. That's why we all are there today hearing and talking about Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, we wouldn't be hearing it, right? Now, this faith needs to become firm. And how does it become firm? By hearing, Shravanam. That's what is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. When we do Shravanam, when we do hearing, then gradually this knowledge starts making sense to us. Then we start contemplating on what we've heard and we say, aha, this is actually the right way to achieve perfection. You see, and then we gradually become well versed in devotional service. So, what do we need? We need faith, which needs to become firm after getting knowledge and start practicing devotional service. And the first step of performing devotional service, we all are already doing, which is hearing. But the next step is chanting, chanting the holy names, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, Krishna, he is in a very simple way, in simple words, is giving us knowledge by which we can break the cycle of birth and death, which is a cycle of misery. And we actually are not really aware what is the relationship with the material world. You see, the whole universe is pervaded by Krishna. in his unmanifested form. You see, Krishna is the one who is the creator, and yet he is not connected. He is aloof from this material world. You see, it is very difficult, very, very difficult to perceive with our material senses that we have, the material vision, material hearing, smelling, tasting. These are all material senses, right? So for us to really understand inconceivable Krishna, then we need to purify the senses. We need to perform pure devotional service, but under the guidance of a bona fide teacher. When we do that, then Krishna says he will reveal himself to us. It's not that after we leave this body that we can realize Krishna. No, we can realize even in this material body. We are the spirit soul encaged inside this material body. But if we Krishnaize our body, if we Krishnaize our senses, our mind, purification is there, then there is going to be realization of Krishna. We cannot perceive Krishna with our material senses. That's not possible at all. He is everywhere, but we cannot see him. He is within our hearts, but we cannot see him. But we can realize his presence in our heart when we perform pure bhakti yoga. You see, just like sunshine is spread all over, similarly, Krishna's energy is spread all over the creation. You see, he's the source, he's the maintainer, you see, but still he's not directly associated with it. So, because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is in the spiritual world, and at the same time, he is everywhere, you see. And everything rests in him. He is the creator. We will learn more in next chapter, number 10, where Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mataha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. That he says, everything emanates from me. And after giving this theory part to Arjuna, that, he is the Supreme Lord, there's no one equal to him or above him, he is the creator, everything emanates from him, everything. Now in verse number 5, he tells Arjuna, behold my mystic opulence. You see, of course, theory is going on right now, and practical will be where Krishna will show his universal form in chapter 11. But right now he's telling Arjuna, behold my mystic opulence. I'm the maintainer, I'm everywhere, yet I'm not part of the creation. Even though I'm the source of the creation, I'm not directly maintaining or sustaining it, but it's all happening by my will. Let's give an example. So there's the owner of the company. He's the CEO. He's the one who owns the business, but he's not personally present every day to see what each employee is doing. He has appointed managers to manage his company, maybe HR manager, finance manager, marketing manager, sales manager. So all these managers, they are the ones who are managing all the employees. But the head is CEO, who's not directly engaged in day-to-day activities, but he is the one who decides what needs to be done. He's the one who decides, and he tells the manager, gives instructions to the managers. That is what Krishna does. He is not directly, but everything happens by his will. You see, he's completely detached. That's why it's very difficult to really understand this aspect, because Krishna is inconceivable. We cannot really understand with our material senses. Now, he gives an analogy in verse number 6. He says, just like the mighty wind rests in sky. So there is this vast sky, and then the wind is there, inside. So similarly, Krishna explains that all living entities rest in me like the mighty wind rests in the sky. Now, sky may be the biggest manifestation we can imagine, right? And in the sky, the wind is the biggest manifestation. Now, the movement of the air, it influences movement of everything. Wind is great. but still it's inside the sky. It's not beyond the sky, you see. So the whole cosmic manifestation, it exists by the will of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada also gives a nice analogy that the sky is like an upside down bowl, right? We have the bowl. So it's like an upside down bowl. And the wind, it blows freely, but inside the sky, inside that bowl, you see? So the movement of the wind is restricted by the sky. That is our position. We all are resting in Krishna. In other words, we are part of Krishna, but there are restrictions. Let me give you another example. Now, in my backyard, I have put a fence. Okay, it's fenced backyard, and I tell my child, you go and play in the backyard. Now, the child has a free will what to do inside that backyard, but cannot go outside the backyard because it is fenced. So his movements are restricted, though he has a free will choice to do what he wants to do inside that fenced backyard. You see, that freedom of choice is there. Same as our situation. We are encaged in this material body and we have minute independence. You know, we have free will, but there are restrictions based on our past karma. Now, in verse number 7, Krishna tells Arjuna that at the end of millennium, you see, all living entities, they enter into Krishna. End of millennium. When is the end of millennium? When it is the end of life of Brahma, which is 100 years, but actually according to material calculation, it is 311 trillion 40 billion years. Then there is another millennium, and then Krishna creates again. You see, this is a little bit higher knowledge, which is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we start Bhagavatam classes, we will hear about this, you see. So when Krishna creates again, then again there are 8.4 million species of lives. Different, not the population, but the different kinds, different species of living entities. For instance, the Puranas tell us that there are 3 million species of animals, 2 million species of trees, 1 million species of birds, 1.1 million insects, 900,000 aquatics, and only 400,000 different species of human beings. This is total of 8.4 million species, you see. So we can understand that the human form is very rare because it has the least number of species, only 400,000, right? Not population, but different kinds, right? So Krishna is trying to explain to us that we are very fortunate that we are now in the human form of life, because only in the human form of life we have the capability, because of philosophical intelligence, we have the capability to really understand the purpose of life, really understand how, first of all, who am I? Where have I come from? You see, why am I suffering? Why do I have to go through this cycle of miseries again and again? We have that intelligence to question and find answers. And Bhagavad Gita gives us all the answers. Now, in text number 8, verse number 8, Krishna says, the whole cosmic order works under my direction. So only when Krishna's will is there, there will be manifestation. And when he has a desire, there's going to be annihilation. So there are two kinds of annihilations of this material world that happens. One is when it is the end of one day of Brahma, there is partial annihilation. And then at the end of Brahma's life, which is 100 years, which according to our material calculation is 311 trillion 40 billion years, there is complete annihilation. The whole material creation is annihilated. And this all Krishna says, it happens by my will. It's only by Krishna's will. It's not that tomorrow I decide end of the world and there's going to be end of the world. No, because I'm nobody. It's only the Supreme Lord who desires. And he doesn't do it himself. He has managers who do this for him. But it is his desire, his will. And when his will is there, the material nature also starts acting. So work does not bind Krishna. We learn this in chapter 3. Work does not bind Krishna. He's totally detached. And at the creation, time of creation, Krishna enters as Mahavishnu. He breathes out. Now, this knowledge is from Srimad Bhagavatam, just to give you, because we're talking about manifestation, unmanifested state, creating and highlighting. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, it states that at the time of creation, Krishna enters as Mahavishnu into a universe. From him, from his breathing, all the universes come out, innumerable universes come out. Then he enters into each universe as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Then from there he enters into hearts of each living entity as Kshirodakshai Vishnu. You see, so this is how Bhagavatam explains how creation takes place. And all of us living entities. Now, when I say living entities, Krishna is not talking about just human beings. He's talking about all living entities, whether it's animals, aquatics, trees, birds, insects, reptiles, you name it, all living entities. So living entities, Krishna says, they are impregnated in material nature based on karma. See, we all have performed some actions and now we are facing the reaction. So if I have a particular type of body in a particular family, in a particular country, is based on my past karma. So all living entities are created at the same time, and all this is done by the will of Krishna. This is how. So one may wonder, why is it that two kids are born on the same day, same time, same hospital, but one is born in a rich family and the other is not? One is born very beautiful, the other is not. One is, has a perfect body, whereas the other one has some defects, maybe is blind or deaf, or has some inabilities, or is invalid, whatever it may be. Why? The child is just born, has not performed any activities. This is because of the past karma. So we get a particular kind of body based on our past karma. But the good news is we can change that. Say, for instance, my karma is really bad from past few lives, but I can change it in this life. How? I can improve, do something right now at the present moment to improve my future, which is, Krishna says, this devotional service. When we perform this devotional service mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, which starts with chanting, then we are able to wipe out all our past karmic reactions and start from a fresh page, completely clean and pure. This is a process of bhakti yoga that cleanses our heart, our mind, our senses. Now, the last verse for today is number 9, where Krishna says that all this creation, everything, it does not bind me. No, I am completely detached. I am neutral. I have nothing to do with all this material creation. It is all there because we want it. You see, in the state, if, not if, always, there are some criminals. There are some citizens who break the law. And so the state government has to build a prison house for such criminals, right? It's not that the state government enjoys building the prison house. They don't want any criminals in the state, in their country, or whatever. But they still make prison house because they know there will be some citizens who will break the law. So they have to be put in the prison house. So this material world is that prison house where we citizens of the spiritual world broke the law and have been put in this prison house. So it's Krishna is detached. He has nothing to do with it. Just like the state government has nothing to do with prison house. They are detached. They've just built it. So, but it is managed by the jailer. So, similarly, this material world is like a prison house. So, Krishna says, I do not get bound by what's happening in the material world. He's detached and neutral. He is engaged in the spiritual world, and he's like a neutral judge. You see, when there is a case in the high court, the judge is neutral. Whoever is at fault, is guilty, is punished. So judge is not affected by that. He is just giving a judgment, right? So that is the position of Krishna. He decides the punishment, or or even a reward if we've done something good. So all that is given by Krishna, but he does not get affected by that. We do get affected, right? If someone is mean to us, rude to us, insults us, or does harm to us, we get affected, right? Excuse me. But Krishna is completely detached. So, all this knowledge that we heard today from verse number 3 to 9, excuse me, all this knowledge should lead us to perform pure devotional service. Because when we follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita and follow and perform pure devotional service, then we will become free from all miseries of life. This is a solution. And the first step to performing devotional service is chanting the holy names of the Lord, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So these are the beads which has 108 beads in them, and we can chant the whole Maha Mantra on each bead. And if we chant 108 times, it's called one round, and it takes about 7 to 8 minutes. So it's my humble request to all of you is that if you're not chanting, please start chanting. And if you're chanting sometimes, then please chant every day, because this chanting is going to help us to purify ourselves. So I'll just chant 10 times, and then I request you to please chant with me. And whenever you have the free time, please chant as much as you can. Okay? Excuse me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So see, it's very, very easy. So I request you to please chant every day, and we will end now. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. If anyone, has any questions or comments, you're welcome. Welcome to ask.